Martin, a wealthy and self-assured businessman, strolled down the busy city street, checking his gold watch impatiently. As he passed a corner, an old woman, frail and weathered from years of hardship, sat on the sidewalk with a tin can in her trembling hands. "Sir, could you spare some change?" she asked, in a gentle, cracked voice. Martin stopped, gave her a cold glance and scoffed. "Why don't you work for your money? Begging won't get you anywhere," he said, stepping around her without a second thought. The old woman lowered her gaze, silent. Later that afternoon, Martin sped down the highway in his luxury car, heading to a meeting. He glanced at his phone to answer an email, and in that split second he lost control. The car swerved and crashed into a pole. Dazed and injured, Martin crawled out of the wreck, bleeding and unable to stand. He called out for help, but the cars passing by simply ignored him. People glanced and kept walking. Just when Martin was about to lose hope, he heard a familiar voice. It was the old beggar woman. She had been walking down the road and spotted him. Without hesitation, she pulled out her small flip phone and called for an ambulance. "Don't worry, help is on the way," she said, kneeling beside him. Martin looked at her in disbelief, guilt washing over him. Why are you helping me?" he managed to ask. "You looked down on me earlier," she replied with a kind smile. "But that doesn't mean I won't help someone in need. Everyone deserves compassion." The old woman followed the ambulance to the hospital and stayed by Martin's side as he recovered. Days passed, and Martin learned that she had no family, no home, and barely enough to survive. Yet she had stayed with him, bringing him soup and keeping him company. He realized that while he had everything money could buy, he had no one who cared for him the way this stranger did. Once Martin recovered, he knew he had to repay her kindness. He bought her a small house and offered her a job at his company as a caretaker, ensuring she would never have to beg again. The old woman tried to refuse at first, but Martin insisted. "You taught me a lesson I'll never forget," he said. "Never look down on anyone. You don't know where help will come from.